Hi. It's been forever since I did a real vlog. It's just been so busy. Lots and lots of good things. So anyway, I thought I would just kind of chit chat and talk with you guys while I cleaned up, kind of shut the house down for the night, put this little guy to sleep all at once, because I never just do one thing at a time. The real challenge is actually not filming. The real challenge is editing. And sometimes I'm just kind of daunted and I know that I'm not going to have time to edit, and so I just don't pick up the camera because I know it's just not going to happen, you know? Oh, wow. Evan, he's got very limited screen time, so he really enjoys that. So I got that job. I don't know if I said that part. Last time I made a vlog. It was about 2 weeks ago. It's a part-time job for a church, and I don't want to give too many details just because whoever knows if there's some weirdo out there trying to find you in real life. I doubt it, but it could happen. Anyway, I've been working really hard towards our goals with that group. We did decide to go ahead and keep Evan home after spring break and begin homeschooling. That's been going really beautifully. It's challenging, but it's extremely rewarding, and I know that that sounds cliche to say, but it really has been amazing. Catching, let me say this the right way, catching the misses, catching the disconnects that have happened in public school and repairing the breach before it becomes too late. And it's affecting his emotions, it's affecting our relationship, and I just feel that it was a turning point in his life in particular that God led me not to miss, and I'm really, really grateful. And so every day is a challenge, but we're just moving along slowly, and he is doing wonderful things, and I have been moved to tears already on 2 occasions from watching his attitude shift and watching him learn something and for it to become easy for him, and just to realize that I don't have to be a genius and I don't have to have a master's degree to teach my own child basic things. And that me one-on-one is better than a highly trained professional with 30 children in one classroom. I felt like it was important to go back and add this in because Evan had a wonderful teacher this year. She was probably the sweetest, most energetic, most understanding, dynamic, loving teacher that he's ever had. And that was really, really good. And this was nothing to do with her. In fact, I emailed her and let her know what some of our reasons were, and let her know, and also let her know that having a really good teacher this year gave us permission to make this decision for the right reasons and not out of desperation or unhappiness, but out of positive reasons. So that's been really encouraging. I wanted to give you an example of what I'm talking about. Okay, this is what can happen in a classroom setting with any normal child, but especially a bright one who can trick the teacher for quite a long time so that she does not realize he doesn't understand the concept. I gave him this quiz. I gave him this little assessment page. And the first question was, the first math problem was 186 plus 251. He was able to do that in his head. He got the answer correct. It's 437. He did that in less than 10 seconds without writing anything down, without saying anything out loud. He just wrote the answer down. Then I watched him do the next one, and he doesn't know how to carry, and he didn't understand place value. So how was he getting that answer correct without understanding how to add? He couldn't explain it to me, and he couldn't be consistent. It was almost like it was luck that he's just so smart at 8 years old that he can do that kind of math in his head, but he did not have any tools for consistency. So his attitude towards math was, I hate math. And he said, I am bad at math. And this is a child who tests about 2 years ahead cognitively, and he was falling from an A to a B in math, and nobody knew why. So after 2 weeks of homeschooling, we now know why and can fix it. So we went back and learned the basics over again. We talked about decimal street. We talked about how many people live in the units house, how many people live in the apartment building with families of 10. We talked about the castle for hundreds. We talked about bumping people out and over every time you run out of room. And then we talked about carrying and adding by columns. And it took him 10 minutes. So that's what we've been doing this week. He's getting 100 on everything, and best of all, he's saying things like, that was easy. And Monday, when this all first started to come together, and I pinpointed where the disconnect was and what he needed, I was just in tears, like all afternoon, because I was so grateful that before we went a year or 2 or 3 years down the line, and he becomes one of those people, like so many of us, who says, I'm bad at math, or I hate school, or whatever that mantra becomes that we tell ourselves, we caught what happened. And being able to work with him one-on-one, we're going to continue to catch what's happening. And we're going to have the time and the freedom to go back and fix it. So I'm just so happy, and it's a really deep happiness. It's a really deep mama joy that is hard to explain. So now I'm just going to try to, every day when we finish everything that we've been working on, and I make little notes about what we did, and I just staple it all together with today's date so that we can kind of track our progress. And we're just going to finish out the rest of this year kind of with that model, really loose and really like homemade, because he was so close to finishing 2nd grade, and there was not really any reason to go and purchase a whole new curriculum for 2nd grade, because we're basically going back through and seeing, okay, what did you not learn this year? And yeah, it's really scattered. And then for 3rd grade, then we'll invest in more of a program. So we're doing that with math. We're literally just like patching the holes and catching everything that fell through the cracks, and really working on a lot of encouraging and a lot of learning how to learn, if that makes sense, learning how to accept instruction. And then other than that, we are literally just picking a country to read about. Like, he's decided on India for the past week. And so we're just reading about India. We're writing spelling lists about the books that we're reading. We're doing social studies, geography, cultural studies, food, reading, spelling, grammar, all with one theme. So we're studying India because that's what he picked, and it's awesome. And then we're just pulling out all these other ideas about what we can talk about, and it's all cohesive. So we're even doing art projects and coloring pages and just all kinds of stuff with that theme in mind. And I feel like that's really helping me, and it's really helping him to simplify and streamline and just to make it more fun. And it makes it seem like such a shorter school day, but you're still hitting all of the major subjects. So as we go through, we're also doing a lot of projects with Colin, which has been really fun. We're just studying the letter C this week and coloring a lot of things about the letter C, basically whatever he's interested in, and doing watercolors. And we're working on counting 1, 2, 3, because he's 2 years old. So these are the kinds of things. Hang on. So I guess I didn't really realize that by starting to homeschool Evan, I would be doing all this homeschool stuff with Colin, who's 2 years old. And that's been a really nice added bonus. Yes. There's basically 2 reasons I haven't been picking up the camera all that much. First one is because I don't always like get ready, and then I just don't really want to be on camera because I haven't put makeup on and I'm still in my pajamas and stuff like that. And sometimes that happens just because I have to get a jump on the day and prioritize. And you see that face? The other one is literally just because I know as soon as I get the kids to bed, I have a bunch of work to do on the computer, and text to send, emails to send, curriculum to modify, and I'm not going to be able to edit. So it's like, what's the point? But I do apologize. I really miss it. If I had time to miss it, I would miss it because I love it. Oh, another thing with Jonah. he's been too little and he's had itchy eczema, so we've not been able to sleep train him whatsoever just because out of compassion, like, how do you sleep train an itchy, hungry child? That's ridiculous. You cannot do that. You can only sleep train a very secure, healthy child. So we had a couple of really bad nights last week, and so we decided to start putting him down awake, and he is doing fantastic. He just goes right to sleep. And then he's been sleeping through the night again like he used to when he was little, before everything happened. So that's been huge. But it's funny now because, like, I actually try to keep him awake until it's time for him to go into the crib, because if he falls asleep in the carrier, then he wakes up for a feeding at like midnight or 2. But if I can get him to drink a whole like 8 ounces and go lay him down awake, he'll be like, wah, wah, and go to sleep. I am telling all your secrets. Yes, because you're a happy boy and you're doing such a good job sleeping. Such a good job. Such a good job. Another recurring issue is that I do a lot of planning on my smartphone, and we got an air printer, so I just print things directly from my smartphone, and I can't exactly film or edit while I'm doing that, can I? All I've got to say, we've got a lot of changes going on. We've got a lot of exciting things happening, and we're just really, really busy. And what's kind of a catch-22 is we have so much more fun stuff going on that, like, we would have a lot more, I'm tickling him until he moves. We would have a lot more interesting footage. But the flip side of that, Evan. The flip side of that is, that we're so busy we don't have time to put things together. So my hat is off to people that have like these 6 or 8 or 10 kids and they're homeschooling, they're doing that. And you see them vlogging all the time. It's just, it's mind-blowing. I don't know how they do it. Anyway, thanks for checking in with us, and hopefully I can slap this together and put a bow on it and get it out in the next couple of days. What's the next word?
I'm going to use this.
Okay.